Okay. And then before we look at the video, any questions or updates you want to discuss, or we can just jump right into looking at the video?
But we can jump right in. Our weather actually turned out to be decent this week, so I did get to ride yesterday.
Oh,
And it's
good.
like every ride feeling something different, which is interesting, but good different.
Good.
So I think if we just jump in and then
Okay.
see what happens. I just wanted to start this first lesson so that I'm not going like anything too astray.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So this is the
So what I
ride.
start out doing is, yeah, this is the second ride, and I'm trying to work her on a circle.
Okay.
And you'll see when we get to the top part of the arena, uh, she kind of wants to fall in, but things are going way better. So what I do when she starts to fall in is I just ride her in a straight line for a couple feet and then do a turn and ride her in a straight line. And eventually she starts doing the whole circle okay.
Perfect.
Because again, been our issue falling in on the upper half of the arena.
So right away, you look more balanced left to right from the discussion we had.
I do. I feel more balanced. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and you're adjusting appropriately left to right enough that when horses stabilize the rolling of the barrel, you can think of the spinous processes staying upright instead of
Hmm.
tilting
Hmm.
side to side. That coupled
Yes.
with a straight neck is that's what's putting her into that voluntary long and low posture. So, what you're
Yes.
doing with your weight in the saddle and helping her kind of stabilize the neck in line with her spine and hindquarters, when that skeletal coordination gets stable, which is the equivalent to equalizing the weight distribution a little more 50-50 left to right, then
Hmm.
they spontaneously lengthen the chain of soft tissues around the spine and pelvis, and then they all fall into long and low at first. And so
Yes.
she's a
Yes.
little bit between shortening the neck and then choosing long and low. So that tells me that you're accurately feeling where she's pushing up on you, which rein she's sort of tugging on, and
Okay.
you're resisting her imbalances, which is very
Okay.
good.
Okay. Good. That's what it's feeling. And I'm just not sure, how much I should do. She goes better when I give a little support with reins and legs.
Yes. So I like that you have her on a circle, number one, because that's helping the hind legs stay a little bit more up and under her. And so
Yes. Yes.
what you're working on is what I call straight on a circle, which to me is quite
Yes.
literally the feel of the horse, is that the midline is straight and the barrel is level, which means the pelvis is also level. So,
Yes. It's kind of a little bit different thing to give up the idea of bent on the circle, but that's still
yes,
a line. I mean, when they talk about bent on a circle, they always show, a line. It's not wobbly, but
right.
anyway, she does better with straight on the circle.
Yes. And so you can kind of sense two imaginary lines, which is what you're doing a really good job with, but to gain a little more consistency where
Yes.
where she lifts her head and shortens the neck,
Uh-huh.
she's lost the balance left to right and started to drop her back a little, disengage her hindquarters a little. But the fact
Yes.
that you're on a circle, I think, is helping her get it, and then she loses it, and then she gets it, and then she loses it. And so when you're on and your path of travel doesn't really have to be all that accurate. What you really want to focus on is the internal part of the equation even if the external path is a little wonky. You're basically on a good enough circle to just focus internally. And I imagine and feel sort of a broomstick straight line of force that's going
Mm-hmm.
from the horse's head to tail. And then I imagine a very short little teeter-totter. So if you look at the horse's shoulders, it's not a lot of width. Even if you look
Right,
between your
right.
legs, it's not a lot of width. So if you imagine it's like a line of force or maybe an imaginary little wooden teeter-totter, every step she takes, you're getting a little tilting action, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
what you're trying to do is keep that lateral teeter-totter level as she tracks on any path of travel, and then that straight line of force nose to tail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus on sort of making those sensations more and more tangible, really, because it really does feel like a tangible straight line of force through the midline and a straight line of force across the back under our seat when the horses are coordinating the spine correctly, distributing their body weight left to right more correctly. And I find if I focus on that, my weight shifts and resistance timing gets quicker. So I'm not having to think and then act. I'm sort of feeling my way into where I have to offer resistance.
Okay, so in other words, you say put more intention
If you
into it?
picture those lines of force, like
Okay.
if you picture what you want, what we're essentially doing is taking all this dissipated energy from her dysfunctional coordination,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just channeling the invisible forces of motion. So
Yeah.
rather than thinking about moving body parts, it's our timing gets better and we get more accurate when we think of guiding these invisible forces of motion. And it gives the horse a little bit of room to rearrange the coordination more intuitively on their part or find comfort as they rearrange their coordination. So where I'm going to make one more change to your riding to help you feel the left to right balance a little bit more clearly because
Okay.
you have made a massive improvement since the last lesson. Like
Okay. Actually, it
you,
does feel that way. Yeah.
yeah, you really got it. And as you're thinking about it or feeling it, or maybe it's just more your habit, there is, let's see if I can draw here. So when I look at your body, you're pretty straight through your torso, here to here, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you're a tiny bit, I tried to pick up a moment where I could really show you. Um, where I see the greatest amount of your body weight is concentrated still a little bit in your seat, as opposed to distributed between your seat and legs. So I like that you're relaxed through the shoulders because that's what's helping you keep your lumbar very engaged and
Mm-hmm.
strong through your core. It also helps the weight stay more in the lower half of your body compared to the upper half of your body. So don't try to change anything regarding the shoulders, neck, or head on you just yet. Just leave that alone.
Okay.
But from here, if you rocked your whole torso forward, so right now, let me see if I can draw this. Your torso is here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's your hip joint. I'm going to put right in here. So do you know where your hip joint is on your,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
And so if you took your head, your straight spine, your straight lumbar, and you just tilted it a tiny bit more over your hip joint. So that would put your torso, I want to say slightly, I'm not a very good drawer, slightly
Okay.
here.
Okay,
So
this is
it,
very interesting because this picture is me feeling tilted forward.
yeah, and I was going to say you might already feel tilted forward, but what you can feel, and the reason I'm kind of going over this detail is because when any human
Mm-hmm.
has more body weight in the seat compared to the thigh bones or the legs,
Mm-hmm.
then we don't feel the left to right changes in the horse.
Right, because even this much, a little bit tilted forward than what I had been riding, I can feel more in my thigh.
Yes, absolutely. And so if you tilt the torso forward, let me erase these lines. So if you were like right now, we go head, spine, pelvis, leg, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If we changed that shape a little, I'll see if I can draw it close.
Yeah.
Let me go the other way. So we go leg, leg. Now the torso goes a little more this way. Whoops, sorry, not a very good drawer.
Okay.
So more like a jump position.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And what you're going to try to feel right now, because you're very conditioned to having most of your body weight concentrated in your seat,
Yes.
if you just focus the way we get weight from our seat into our legs is we have to not bend or curve the spine, just tilt the whole body forward over your thighs. So even sitting in the chair, if you sit in your chair and you lean against the back, you'll feel your legs lighten and your seat
Mm-hmm.
take more
Mm-hmm.
weight. And if I just lean forward, like I'm going to put my elbows on the table, like
Mm-hmm.
that or that, that's going to shift weight out of my seat into my legs. And I didn't arch or bend or lift or
Mm-hmm.
anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. I just sort of like leaned forward as if I were going to lean on a table.
And again, the feeling in my legs that I'm getting is on the inner thigh. I'm still kind of, I think I'd said before, I've always thought when you put weight down in your thighs, it goes down the front of your thigh. But it's the inner.
It's actually, think of the weight bearing part is the bones. The muscle use when you're really loading your bones and you're toned but not tight,
Okay.
then the result is you feel the deeper inner thigh muscles, which are flatter.
Yes.
They sort of gently activate. They're not really a muscle you can squeeze on purpose. It's
Yes, yes. And I've been feeling, again, that's been one of the huge things just starting this whole thing was feeling those particular muscles.
yes, yes, because where you're still a little bit heavy in the seat, you're going to
Hmm.
have to use the quads and the hamstrings to stay stable.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a point. So, what I would do is when you get in the saddle, you've got a good skull, spine, pelvis alignment. So, just notice when you get in the
Okay.
saddle, if you compare the weight in your seat to the weight in your legs, just take note of it.
Hmm.
Then, what you're going to do is rock the torso forward. Like you can even
Hmm.
put your hands on your horse's neck and just tilt
Hmm.
forward. And hold that for a second and just notice the weight automatically comes out of your seat and goes
Hmm.
straight in your legs all the way.
Hmm.
It's mostly in the thigh bone, but you'll feel it right down to the balls of your feet. You'll just feel your whole leg connect
Okay.
into the arena. And
So I've
then
been feeling a little bit of that. You said I need to feel more of that
it
and to stay there.
well, in order to change your habit, like, and this is what happens to all of us. because you already feel so far forward, you're holding back at a huge improvement over your riding habit, but not quite to the place where you're able to easily feel all of her left to
Okay.
right little
Okay.
things.
Okay. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, what you can do, just like we talked about last time, sort of shift, like last time we talked about shifting to one side and then back to
Hmm.
normal, shift to
Hmm.
one side. That's the left to right direction. And in order to clean up the left to right, we have to improve your front to back a little bit. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yes. Yes.
So, front to back, when you're in the saddle, you're just going to rock forward and back. And you can start really exaggerated, right? And just
Hmm.
notice if you lean your torso back, the weight goes in your seat and
Yes.
your
Yes.
legs get lighter.
Yes.
And then play with how far forward, like really exaggerate it and go, can
Okay.
I put
Okay.
all the weight in my legs,
Okay.
right? And then do the same thing, go back and forth and back and forth. And then when you settle on what feels normal, you're still going to have to ask yourself to err on the side of your legs feeling heavier than your
Hmm.
seat.
Yes. Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is
And
good to know that that's because I look at myself and I go, something's off still. I watch you
Mhm.
ride and I watch me ride and go, there's something that,
and it doesn't look like what it feels like, especially where you are right now with changing habits. You're going to feel like a jockey to keep the
hmm.
weight in your legs. You're going to feel like
Hmm.
you're ready to go over a 2 meter jump, right? You're
Uh-huh.
just leaning forward, leaning forward.
Hmm.
But what should happen is when we put, like, if I have a horse that's really unsteady left to right, I will ride on purpose with more weight in my legs compared to my seat
Hmm.
to be able to help shift my weight quicker and more
Yes.
accurately to the changes the horse is
Yeah,
making.
that makes total sense.
Okay.
Because, yeah. Okay. Good.
And so, where do our play button go? There it is. And so that's like, because you're both doing this amazing job. Your horse is spontaneously shifting postures, Willow. It's a
Hmm.
voluntary long and low that is the result of you getting her balanced enough left to right that it's working. And I think you
Hmm.
even emailed me that she feels more stable than she's ever felt before.
Yes, yes. And I feel more stable. Again, like I said in our last time, I didn't realize how busy I was internally before. And again, we're talking internal and little itty bitty bits,
Yeah.
but still.
No, and I can see it because when I look at a rider, I know how hard you're working when I can't see you move.
Yes,
And
yeah.
yeah, her posture is coming and going, which means what you're feeling is changing a lot. So you're already
Hmm.
doing
Hmm.
an amazing job stabilizing your core and
Okay,
stabilizing
good.
your lumbar and pelvis, which is key. And then if you take that stable pelvis, lumbar, and core muscle work and you just tilt it so the weight goes more in your legs,
Hmm.
it's going
Hmm.
to sensitize you to all the little subtle versions of her rolling her barrel.
Yes. Okay.
And when you resist those rolling feelings,
Hmm.
the thighs will help support your weight shift that you're already making.
Yes, yes. And that really helps her.
Yeah, because she kind of needs not just the thigh bone or not just the seat bone weight. She needs the seat bone thigh bone combination.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Yes.
she's getting it. I would not change what you're doing with her. This is really working. I would do, if you're going to do circles, split your time, spend, like, let's say hypothetically in a 1 hour ride, I would give her 30 minutes on one direction, change direction only
Okay.
one time, and then give her 30 minutes the other way or equal time. And
Okay.
so when you do that, both of you have the time to feel your way through the habit and make changes and then stabilize some of the changes. So
Mm-hmm.
part of
Mm-hmm.
the reason she's a little bit up and down in her posture is because once she does lengthen her neck and go into long and low, she's going to be a little unstable in that transition from using her muscles to stabilizing
Mm-hmm.
her skeletal coordination.
Mm-hmm.
That's another reason you need to be in the legs where you can be more accurate and you can support that transition because she's kind of
Mm-hmm.
loving what she's feeling. You can tell she's trying to get there.
Yes, 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 she really likes this.
Yeah. And she's feeling the muscular relief of you stabilizing her lateral balance. That's what releases the neck and causes her to fall into long and low. She can't hold the long and low posture without a little bit more support from you left to right. And
Okay, okay.
the circle, being on a circle, will also help her learn to hold the posture of long and low. I think
Yes,
that's an important piece.
that's good because it's experimenting with how much I help her and getting away from riding a circle, not using my reins to place her on the circle.
Yeah. And so don't worry about the shape of your circle. Just sort of
Uh-huh.
like you're using about a third of the arena, you're staying on the right direction or left direction. That's good enough for now. And then just
Mhm.
concentrate on when you, with a little more weight in your legs, I think you'll feel more clearly that line through her midline and also the more subtle changes of the rocking side to side.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as your stability is consistent while she comes and goes, that's what's going to help
Mhm.
her stabilize the posture of long and low
Mhm.
because you're getting the transition of posture. She's having a hard time holding the new posture,
Yes. Yes.
but she
And then
kind of wants to.
yes, yes, she's kind of liking it. And somewhere along here, I try to do some halt walk because that seems to help her, the braking, pushing. Um,
Yes, and it
yeah, she,
right now, if you weren't on a circle, I would say the transitions would be more necessary. If you're working on a circle, that what the circle does is it acts as it encourages braking.
okay, there's a halt. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in the halt, she struggled a little and like shortened the neck, dropped her back.
Yeah, she's not big on braking.
Yeah. And so when the braking is not easy for them and they go upside down in the downward
Hmm.
transition, then for now, let the circle slowly do the braking for you.
Okay.
Because
So
the
she does
longer,
seem,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, she does seem more stable after a few of these transitions, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
Yes. And so the downward, like she definitely needs to play with transitions. But right now, the question is, can she make a transition without shortening her neck, dropping her back?
Okay.
And what I'm seeing on the video is that she struggles with that. So her way
Yes.
of making the downward transition is taking her back into the habitual coordination that you're trying to change.
Yes. Yes.
That's the only reason I would say right now, I think the better option, it's slower, but let her choose her speed and just keep her on a constant circle.
Okay.
Because the circle has the same effect as the downward transitions. And when I look at her, it's going to be easier for her to choose a halt when she's ready or break and slow down her walk by just letting the circle kind of do that work for you. And
Okay.
because it's kind of a full-time job to change how her what her posture is and stabilize the change of posture. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
And so when you add trot, like after the transition, she lengthens her neck. So I can see where
Hmm.
it's helping her
See, they're
stabilize.
getting a little bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's helping her stabilize, and you can like play with maybe walk trot transitions if you find
Okay, there's a,
after a little bit of trot that it's easier for her to
yes,
hold long and low.
yes, yes. There's a trot in here somewhere, small
Yeah,
trot.
you just had a little trot on the video. We could,
Somewhere. Oh, okay, I missed it.
yeah, let me
It's
go.
hard to tell the slow motion. Yeah, I just because she felt good, she was stretching down and um it felt very nice.
Yes. And the moment, like if you want to play with transitions while you're on the circle, the timing of
Hmm.
asking for an upward or a downward would be once she's given you a few steps in long and low. And if you can get
Okay.
the downward without losing the posture of long and low, then you're strengthening the brakes.
Okay. So if I started to do a halt in long and low and she does that thing with bringing her head back toward me, just abandon the halt.
You could, yeah, you could just say, never mind, we'll try it again in a minute.
Uh-huh.
Now, I tried to take it back to where, let's see if where the trot comes in. I think it's right around here somewhere. Because you do a couple of walk to halt transitions and she
Yes,
she
yes, before.
starts the more walk halt transitions you're doing, it's like she starts to hold on to that shorter neck. Now, here before the trot, I would have tried to get another few steps of long and low and
Okay.
then
Oh, there's it
trotted.
is. Yeah.
And then
Okay.
after the trot, it actually kind of helps her hold the long and low a little more. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't put in the halt. I think the halt is going to be your more challenging downward transition.
Yes, yes. She's never been big on stopping.
Yeah, and so I would just for now put the walk to halt transition a little bit on the back burner, knowing that that's going to
Okay.
take that she'll have to improve her balance a little before those get good.
Okay. Okay.
But what you could do is let her choose her tempo, speed, stride length of the walk, but keep her on a circle because that will have the
Hmm.
same effect as downward transitions
Okay.
without her going back to her old habits.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then
That's
when
good
you're
to know.
on the circle, if she gives you a quarter of the circle or even a few steps where she holds long and low,
Hmm.
I would ask for the trot while she's in long and low and stay on the circle.
Okay.
And then let her choose when to break the trot.
Okay.
And
Okay.
what you'll see is she may slam on the brakes and stick her head up in the air, but that was her, not you.
Okay.
And what
She's
this
pretty good about not doing that.
okay,
But
and
yeah.
if she winds herself down slowly, then that's very good news.
And then this is the end. We'll see
Okay.
me try to turn off the phone.
Okay, so let me see.
But that's good. There's a lot in there, actually. Yeah.
There's a lot in there. And so let me try to, do you want to look at the other video? Let
It's
me,
pretty much the same thing. This is the
let
first
me,
video has one terrible moment where you can see me totally overcompensating my weight to the right so much that I actually bend to the left. It's just kind of a funny moment because I'm like, oh, I'm bending to the left. That's interesting.
And that's exactly how we do it and how horses do it is
Yeah.
we kind of overdo it when we're if we've been sort of super heavy in the seat, we're going to find ourselves too
Hmm.
far forward and then we're going to balance it back. Or if we're way too
Right.
much to the left, we're going to end up way too much to the right and then balance it back.
Yeah.
And that's typically what happens. Oh, okay.
I'm
So
good at
this is a
overdoing
vertical.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is I finally this was my first try
Yeah, the
with the
horizontal
phone.
makes a better video to look at than the
Yeah,
vertical.
absolutely. That's better.
Mhm.
And this is yeah, this is working fine. Yeah, so I'm trying real hard. No, I shouldn't say trying real hard because this is where I don't feel like I'm trying real hard, like I'm out there all tensed and worked up about it. But since I know I do tend to overdo things, I'm trying to be very careful and figuring out, and that's why you're talking with you is very helpful, how much support I give her and do versus just letting her meander around, um, and just trying to stay out of her way. But I think we're at the point where I don't want to stay out of her way. I want to help her.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really like your balance and what you're doing. You did catch yourself because you kind of went over to one side,
Yeah, I've got several in here.
but then you corrected yourself. That's the important part because we can't make changes we're unaware of.
Yeah.
So
This
the
is only this is the second ride after our first talk.
okay.
Yeah.
And you're doing a really good job correcting yourself. So you're starting to notice in this ride when she's
Yes.
pitching
Yes.
you, and then you make the adjustment and go back, which is very good. And in the
Yes.
second ride, I couldn't see you do that, which means your timing is better and you're feeling more,
Okay. Excellent.
which is
Yeah, you're talking
awesome.
about, I know she pictures me a lot left, especially left to the right, but I've been noticing too how much she pitches me forward and back.
Yes. And that's where I like to stabilize the left to right balance, which puts them in the posture of long and low. And when you
Hmm.
get on her and she can hold long and low for 10 or 15 minutes easily, then I would say, okay, now she's more ready to focus on transitions and her front to back balance. When she's
Okay.
kind of coming and going in the long and low posture, it's not solid enough so that when you throw in transitions, she just goes, oh, okay, well, this is how I know how to do them. So you don't
Hmm.
actually get more authentic braking and pushing. They just shorten the neck, drop the back, and do their muscles to do it. So I would
Okay.
say, and that's why I said let the circle help you for now. Let her choose her speed. You could play with the
Okay.
trot a little bit because that kind of what the trot does is the same muscles of the top line. They don't work as
Hmm.
hard in trot as they do in walk.
Okay.
So to go from walk to trot back to walk can help her release patterns of tightness, help her find long and low more consistently
Okay.
because
Yes.
the little bit of trot just helps those same muscles kind of not work as hard.
Yes, and it really feels that way. And she likes it.
Yeah,
As long as I let her, it's interesting, let her find her trot rather than, it's dropping that, put your leg on and have the horse,
that
trot off.
is the key.
I mean, that's kind of here. Again, that's one of those old dressage things that it's like, okay, I put my leg on and she has a response. We're not trotting yet, but I kind of feel like she's organizing for the trot.
Beautiful.
And that's really a nice feeling. Okay, good, good.
Yes,
Yeah.
beautiful. And what you're going to feel when you let the horse choose their speed, their tempo, their stride length, as long as they're giving you trot, don't be picky and allow
Right.
her. allow her to break the trot whenever she wants because
Yeah, that's really interesting because it's either in one of your videos or one of your workbooks. I don't know, whatever. I've got a lot of information in my head. Um, yeah, where you talk about letting them break gait, that's fine.
and
Because that's
not
another thing, yeah, we're
I
taught
know it's
to
like
keep it going.
I sound like a heretic when I say that.
You too.
I
It's like,
know.
what?
What? And the
What? You're supposed to
reason
go on trot, stay there till I tell you differently, right?
exactly. And when we put maintain gait and maintain direction ahead of considering how they're coordinating during the trot or during the direction, then what we
Okay,
wind up
yeah.
with is we wind up with maintenance of dysfunction.
Yes.
And so the horse is doing the best they can with what they know. But that's an easy way is to say you must stay on this precise path at this precise tempo, stride length, and speed. And the horse goes, okay, well, then I can drop my back and twist myself in order to do that for you.
Hmm.
And if
And the
we
rider. And the rider does the same thing,
absolutely,
right? We start giving a lot of aids, and at least me, if I do that, then I'm contorting all over the place.
yes, we all do. And that's it makes us feel better as riders because we're busy. We're doing a lot.
We're
So we
busy, right? I can fix this.
yeah,
Yeah.
we think we're getting somewhere. But when you leave it to the horse, what you're getting is a constant reality check on how strong and stable she is with the accelerator and the brake, right?
Hmm.
So while you're focused, and this is how I like to do it, only because when you balance a horse left to right, the result of that lateral balance is very quick releases of muscle contractions.
Okay.
So it feels good to them to just release patterns of tension, right? And so I
Hmm.
go long and low is not balanced, but muscularly, it gives the horse a lot of ease and relief.
Hmm.
So they get happy and calm very quickly.
Hmm.
And when you can stabilize the posture of long and low, which is just the result of the left to right balance, doesn't matter the speed, the transition, the gait, nothing like that. When she stabilizes there, what I find is every every upward transition you get, whether it was your idea or hers, with that long neck, you're now strengthening pushing capacity. Every downward transition she makes and keeps her neck long, now you know for sure you're building the braking capacity.
Capacity.
Yeah, when she shortens her neck, we're back to dysfunction. So
Okay.
we're not building the new. She's relying on the old.
From the old.
Hmm.
So when I'm going around the circle and she shortens her neck, that's her figuring things out. I don't need to do anything differently.
No, and if you want to be sort of ruthless on yourself, every time a horse
Yes.
shortens the neck, I go, even if I can't feel it at first, the neck shortening tells me the back is going down, which means I
Hmm.
lost also the left to right balance. So even if I can't feel a high side, low side, or I can't feel where I need to put my body weight at first,
Hmm.
theoretically, I know it's there to be felt. And I, l-
Okay. That
s-
strangely makes sense.
so it tells me to look for where it is. I know it's somewhere, but that doesn't always mean I have the awareness of it right away. That's how we develop ourselves as writers.
Oh, that makes a lot. That's very good.
Yeah, but the
So there's
hard,
not, see, I'm looking for something. What did you hear my question? What can I do? But it's really what can I feel?
because once you can feel, you know what to do.
Yeah. Okay.
So in
That's
other
very,
words, in the beginning, to get her. out of this posture of extension and make this shift into long and low. What you're doing is already doing that. So when you keep your balance and stability, that means you have to resist if the right side of her back is coming up and the left side of her
Mm-hmm.
back is going
Mm-hmm.
down. You're
Mm-hmm.
adjusting your weight and balance to resist that problem,
Right. Right.
right?
Okay.
So you're not making her balance. What we do as riders is we resist everything that is not balance.
Yeah. Yeah. Just have
And
to feel it.
and the fastest best way to do that is be unbudgeable, be still.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So we
Yes.
we
Yes. Yes. Makes a lot of sense.
yeah, we feel like we're moving all the time, but we're adjusting weight and muscle tone really in order to not be moved by the dysfunction.
Okay.
And
Now,
that's,
some of these times,
I was going to say that's true
okay, go
whether
ahead.
we're talking left to right or front to back.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Now, some of these times when she's going around and she's not so much in long and low, but some of the time she still seems to be out of extension. I mean, I see sometimes she's dropping her back and putting her head up, but sometimes she seems to be just kind of nose going forward. Is that true, or am I just imagining
Think
this?
of think of the spinal movements by degrees, more or less,
Okay.
more or less. So the horse's spine between full lifting, spinal flexion, and the most dropped it can be, spinal extension,
Hmm.
they only have a range of motion of about 2.25 inches.
Okay.
It's 55 millimeters, something like that. So I think of it as where she might have been dropped to the most degree when she's not really shortening her neck, but she's not fully lengthening it. She's still dropping the back, but to a lesser degree.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does.
So, where the spine first completely reverses direction from down to up is often, most often, that nose on the ground, long and low. The reason for that is, and I wish somebody had told me this about 100 years ago, it is dynamic and constant that whenever a horse's spine is headed in the downward direction, the muscles along the spine and top line go always respond with a shortening type of contraction. It's called concentric contraction.
Okay.
When the spine is going up the other direction, the muscles are always in what's called a lengthened contraction or eccentric contraction. So, have you feel this, right? If you take, we're going to show off
Hmm.
our big guns, right? If you take your bicep, everybody thinks contraction means flexing your bicep, shortening the
Right.
muscle
Right.
and contracting it, right?
Hmm.
If you lengthen your arm and extend all the
Okay.
joints fully, lengthen your arm and then tighten the muscles. You can do that.
Okay.
That's
Hmm.
eccentric contraction, where this is concentric contraction.
Okay.
Two different types of muscle contractions. What
Hmm.
long and low is you just drop your arm. It's no contraction.
Oh, okay.
When they lift the back, so imagine
Hmm.
you've been walking around like this. This has been your habit. So now your bicep
Yeah.
is just good and tight, right?
Okay.
You
Right.
you can even feel this yourself because this is one of the theories from a dropped back to a lifted back. If you shorten your bicep and tighten it as much as you can, and
Hmm.
then keep it tight and lengthen your whole arm with the tight
Okay.
muscle, that is very hard.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable. It feels like a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
what I think horses prefer most often that gets them on board with me is your horse has been shortening all the soft tissues around the spine and pelvis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the posture of extension. When
Mm-hmm.
we ask her to go from this and just balance left to right, what we're doing is saying, just let go
Okay. Just
of the
let go.
shortening contraction, right? When we play with transitions, from long and low, horses elevate their own head and neck as those same muscles begin to contract in length. So they work very hard to lift the back, but the neck is always long. The neck is just it's like the tip of the spear that just shows us what the rest of the spine is doing. So when
Okay.
she's fully lengthening her neck, she's going to fall into long and low at this point because all we're asking her to do is quit shortening those muscles and let them restore length. When you play with transitions, you're asking the long muscles to work harder, start contracting again in order to lift the back and engage the hindquarters. So that's why when we looked at the other video, if you're
Mm-hmm.
getting the downward transition, but you're getting it with the shortening neck, we're conditioning the coordination the wrong way.
Okay. All right.
What I did see her do was when you go walk, trot, walk,
Mm-hmm.
you get the benefit because in the trot, even if it's a crappy little trot for 3 strides, it
Mm-hmm.
also helps release the holding pattern, the shortening pattern of those top line muscles.
Yes. 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 Because I totally felt that.
Yes. But when you
Definitely.
ask her to go from walk to halt, she goes, "Oh, I can't do that this way. So I'm going to do it the way I know how."
The way I know how. Okay. That's very, very helpful. So ditch the hall right now.
Ditch the halt, but stay on a circle because the circle is like a slow motion halt.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Should I try smaller circles or different size circles or just do this circle?
You can definitely play with that. You can play with different size
Um,
circles. And what you're looking for is, and this happens even to confirmed runaways, is when they start to actually use their braking mechanism correctly, the neck will
mhm.
stay long, and even horses like her start to lose forward. So if I'm on a circle that's a little more braking than she can handle, she's going to start volunteering the halt a lot, and it'll be harder and
Oh,
harder
okay. All
to
right.
get her to
Yes.
go, right? So if I have a horse that's stopping all the time, I'm going to make my circle bigger until even if it's a very slow walk, they're not stopping. I go, that's
Okay.
the first criteria, not don't be
Okay.
stopping, right? And right now, the size circle you're on, she has a reasonable rhythm. She's finding the long and
Mm-hmm.
low. She's just
Mm-hmm.
not holding it. So
Mm-hmm.
if you made the circle a little bit smaller, maybe that would help her hold the long and low posture. Maybe,
Okay. Okay.
maybe. But you can play with that. If it makes her
Okay.
shorten her neck
Okay.
or stop,
Then not,
then it's too small.
not. Okay.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
and that's what I was going to say about the transitions and choosing the speed is if you think of it logically, when horses feel uncomfortable or unstable running around the pasture, they organize themselves the most comfortable way possible. They use their brakes typically. They don't go around and run into trees. Like they
Mm-hmm.
slow themselves down
Right.
gradually. And that is the easiest way for them to rebalance or restabilize or find comfort again. And so
Hmm.
when we decide we're
Hmm.
going to call the shots on the downward transitions, then number one, we can cut the movement rather than stimulate the braking mechanism. We just cut the movement and they go upside down.
Okay.
The
That
other
makes a lot of
thing,
sense. Okay.
yeah, the other thing we can
Interesting.
do is like we go, when we say halt, we mean halt, right? And she goes, well, I'm going to need a whole lap to be able to halt if I want to do it with my real brakes, right?
Hmm.
So my game is I always allow the downward transition, but if I want to discourage the downward transition, then I just count to one and ask for the next upward,
Okay. Right.
right?
Yes.
Because,
Yes. Okay. I got that. Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
yeah, even when it's frustrating and annoying, every single time a horse chooses a downward transition, they're far more likely to use their braking mechanism correctly than when we impede the movement through the face,
Hmm. Mm.
right? And so even horses that like, I call it moving in a cloud of turtle dust, they're so
Yes.
slow
Yeah.
and
Okay.
frustrating. I'll even allow the downward transitions with them because it's like a little pause and then we redo it.
Hmm.
And they go, "Okay, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. I need to halt." I go, "Okay," and then redo
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And so when you let her choose her trot, if you ask for the trot while she's in long and low, you have the best odds of actually strengthening the pushing mechanism.
Okay.
And if she starts to shorten her neck to make the upward transition, you can say, never mind,
Yeah.
don't worry about
Okay.
it. Right. And the same on the downward transitions. But if I think with her, the path of least resistance for now is let her choose the downward transitions, but you never ask for them.
Okay.
And then you can ask for the upward transitions whenever you like, but you're going to keep it just between walk and trot.
Yes. Okay.
Unless she chooses the halt, then you ask for walk,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Okay.
And
Yes.
that way you're getting kind of the best of both worlds because if you're not a person who's sharp with your horse, and so you give her time when you make the corrections. And if you give a leg aid and you're already sensitive enough to feel her organize
Hmm.
in order
Hmm.
to do it, you'll feel the same thing when you're waiting for her to choose the downward transition. You'll feel her organize in order to make the
To
downward
make it.
transition.
Okay.
And those are gold nuggets.
Okay.
Gold
I hear what
nuggets.
you're saying. That hadn't really gotten into my brain
Yeah, because when the
because I was
horse
thinking,
chooses them,
yeah.
they are learning a little bit every single transition. If we aren't in a hurry to get the upward and we let them choose the downward as needed, we really keep saying to them in a way, figure out how to get better at this. Figure out how to get more comfortable doing
Mhm.
this in whatever way makes sense to you.
Mhm.
We're not sort of saying, pull your head in and go this
Yeah,
speed. And
right.
because there's no human on the planet that can balance a horse better than a horse can figure out for themselves. She knows what she feels. We don't,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? We're sort of reading what we're, feeling as a rider. We're looking at the posture, we're looking at the movement,
Hmm.
but those are just clues. That's not the detail.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so that's why I do it that way, is because I find horses develop faster if you kind of let them go through that learning curve in their own way.
Okay.
And so your balance is really the primary influence, anyways. And right
Hmm.
now, it's kind of a full-time job when you ride her
Hmm.
to focus on yourself.
Hmm.
And when you do that accurately, and even making this change with a little more
Hmm.
weight in your
Hmm.
legs, that's going
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
another big deal.
Yes, yes, I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
And so do some walk trots, stay on a circle. Don't change direction too frequently,
Okay.
and just work on kind of gaining awareness and stabilizing the changes in your balance first. And the benefit is that your horse is showing you that it's working
Mhm. Oh,
before we,
absolutely.
yeah, before we even get into guiding her more or playing with steering or transitions or anything. She's already responding.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that the good news is because not everybody gets that. Sometimes we have to focus on the horse first because the horse just can't respond because their balance is so far away.
Oh, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And I always look at the horse rider combination, and your horse doesn't need a ton of guidance. She needs the rider to be in the right place at the right time.
Position and stable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
hmm
then she goes, if you can do that, I can
hmm
figure out quite a lot on my own. Thank you very much.
Yes, that is
Right?
true. It's
And
exactly true.
that's a lot of mares. Oh my God.
Yes,
Mares
that
are
is
like,
so
yeah.
right.
They're like, just stay out of my way and do your job.
Exactly. We'll be fine.
We'll be
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the
Good.
more you try to kind of manage her frame, it's like
Uh-huh.
that's why they get a bad reputation is because they're
Right.
like,
Right.
you're doing it wrong.
And Willow is really good at the brace,
Yeah.
bracing. She's like, this is great. I'll brace on you, you brace on me, and we'll hold each other up, and that's how we'll go.
Yes. Because she's a very strong mare. She's powerful.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I think giving her the relief of just
hmm
because long and low gets a very bad rap for a lot of
Right. Right.
reasons.
Right.
And it if you stayed or kept a horse in the posture of long and low, you can do that too long and it
hmm
reverses every benefit you ever got out of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So there's a window where right now, think of the long and low posture is just providing massive muscle relief and minimal axial stability of the skeleton, right? So you're getting a minimal improvement in in the spinal coordination use of the pelvis, but you're really helping her feel good with the massive muscle use
Right.
change. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yes,
And
it
then
does.
her challenge is probably going to be in the realm of lifting the back, engaging the hindquarters, which is the front to back and up to down balance for horses.
hmm
And that's going to be related to transitions, rhythmic movement, tempo, speed, braking,
hmm hmm
pushing, full transitions, half transitions,
hmm
all of that
Right.
that has to
Right.
do with speed
hmm
is related to those two dimensions of balance. So the good news is while you're kind of stabilizing your balance, all you have to think about is left to right.
Right.
Because it gets to be a little overwhelming to think,
Right. Right. Too
yeah,
much. Too much. Okay. Well, we will focus on. I've got some things for me. I know that I need to. What you said, it makes sense. I wasn't sure how far. It really is helpful to see a video and then to talk about it.
it
And
really
then,
is.
yeah, just stay on the circle, stay on the circle, stay there. Do some trots if it
Hmm.
feels good. Stay on the circle, stay on the circle,
Yeah,
stay on the circle. Okay.
because the circle is slowly building her capacity for the walk halt transitions. Not fast, but it's going to help.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I'm basically asking you to do the same thing we're asking her to do, which is normal as we change deep internal habits, which is
hmm
coordination. I'm asking you to kind of overdo the opposite
hmm
of your pattern,
hmm
right?
Right.
Try to
Right.
ride with more weight in your legs than
Yeah.
you actually need.
Yeah.
And then for her, we're saying, yes, put your nose on the ground
Yeah.
and
More
stay
than.
there,
hmm
right? Before we ask for the middle place, we're sort of getting the body, the nervous system familiar with
hmm
a very opposite use of what
hmm
we
Right.
started with as a habit.
Okay.
And all it
Okay.
does, it's like, wow, the nervous system recalibrates so fast that by the time you get consistent in your balance and she gets consistent in long and low, it it's like when both of you can do that for a consecutive 10 to 15 minutes, you're done. Like then you just start moving on
Okay.
to the next dimensions of balance.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
will proceed ahead with many, many, many circles and things.
For
It's,
now,
it's
yeah.
actually a beautiful day here. I'm looking, it's absolutely amazing.
Oh,
So I'll
good.
get to do it this afternoon.
Excellent.
And when I feel like I've gotten more long and low, then we can connect again and
Yeah. Or if you
see.
have questions along the way or you want to just check in to make sure
Okay.
everything's
Okay.
going down
Yeah.
the right path, we can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say before you worry too much about transitions or pretty
Okay. That's
movement,
really good to know. Right.
yeah,
Right.
because that will come and that will be
Yeah. And I don't
probably,
think we're too far away.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, both of you are very quick at making these changes and dealing with the disorientation part. Like that's not setting either one of you back going, this can't be, this can't be.
Yeah.
You're sort of moving into the unfamiliar a lot faster than some people do. So that's
It does seem
great.
like we're really connected together in this. It's a wonderful
Yeah.
feeling, actually. I mean, I've always felt connected. It's not like I haven't had connection, but there's
But there's
some
something
deeper
different.
thing. There is. There's something different, and words are sometimes not useful. And
Yeah, and I tell people for me, it's like I took dance lessons, and when I would dance with the instructor, dancing felt amazing. And when I would dance with one of the other students, it was just a lot of work and didn't feel as good
Mhm,
because we were both learning. And I go,
yeah,
that's kind of, we can be connected to our horse, but both sort of be learning. But like in the moment you're finding now, when you're both in balance, it suddenly feels like a good dance.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually hard to describe, but that's part of
Mm.
how we recognize balance is because it just
Yes, yes,
feels
right.
graceful.
Yes, yes, and lovely. So,
Hmm.
okay, good.
All right.
All right, that gives me a lot. We can